Welcome back. Well, as Trudy McIntosh in Canberra reported earlier in the show, the Prime Minister has accused the crew on board a Chinese warship of reckless and irresponsible behaviour after the vessel shone a military-grade laser at an RAAF warplane. To discuss that and some of today's other big issues, we're joined now by Liberal Senator Holly Hughes and businesswoman and commentator Prue MacSween. Ladies, welcome.
Thanks, Smithy. Hi.
Good evening,
Hi, Holly.
guys.
Good to have you both with us.
Prue.
Holly, the Chinese love to prod and poke, and they're doing it to us again.
I think it's absolutely appalling that this behaviour has occurred. This Chinese ship was allegedly in Australian economic waters, but has shone a laser into an RAAF plane. And this could potentially have blinded the pilot. It could have risked the lives of the crew. It is incredibly dangerous, but I don't see how you see it other than a very significant act of aggression. It's very scary, it's very difficult, and I think this behaviour, if this has occurred, China needs to provide a very significant explanation and quickly.
Yeah, I had some reaction to this on my radio program today, and a lot of people were saying, well, what were they doing in our economic zone anyway? There's a good point to ask. And secondly, you know, we round up idiots who use, you know, those small lasers you can buy at
the lasers to, you know, for pilots and
Correct.
stuff.
We put it before the court.
Yeah, no, and look, I'm not expert on maritime law, but I do understand that there are sort of transitory pathways that ships can take. But it was our economic zone, it was Australian waters, and it was in direct, an attack, a direct attempt to intimidate, infiltrate, distress an Australian aircraft. Absolutely, China need to explain this behaviour. And if they won't, why not? And I mean, it is an act of aggression. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable and unacceptable.
And I think the state of the world, we've got Putin on the doorstep of Ukraine. We know China's in the straits outside of Taiwan. This is interesting days.
Prue, the Prime Minister says Australia will raise the issue directly through diplomatic channels with China. Fat lot of good that'll do. They don't pick up the phone to us when we want to talk about trade.
The problem is that China is so empowered because for years, not just Australia, but the world has ignored them. You know, that quietly they've been infiltrating, they've been doing acts of aggression, they've been taking disputed territories over and building military zones around them. And the world's just watched. So, of course, they're feeling like they can get away with murder because they have been. And, you know, this is a real shot at us across our bows. We do need to complain loudly, but China doesn't give really a rat's about us, let's face it. We're totally insignificant to them, and this is just another bullying tactic by a totalitarian organisation.
Yeah, just still on China, Holly, I wanted to get you... I haven't spoken to you since the Global Times ran that story written by Bruce Haig about the fact that Anthony Albanese would make a far superior Prime Minister, which is basically what they said without using those words. In some ways, they were dumb enough to think that that would be disadvantageous to the Prime Minister, but it works the other way, doesn't it?
Well, I think most Australians would be very concerned to think that the Australian Prime Minister would be seen by China as someone that they could manipulate. And basically that was what that article was saying, that China is looking to a Labor government because they know that they will be much more friendly to them, they will be much more conducive to allowing China to re-enter the Australian market where they've been stopped previously, and allow China to, in effect, walk over Australians, because too many in the Labor Party have very strong sympathies with China, its regime, and particularly the communist ethos.
Yeah. You know, Prue, sometimes I worry what kind of Australians I share this continent with, especially when they need and find the time to officially complain about wonderful sports stars like tennis superstar Ash Barty and her swigging of a beer on the set at Channel 9 after she won the Australian Open. One person complained to an alcohol watchdog, and yet it was a moment of sheer endearment towards Ash Barty, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, she's an incredible role model for everybody. I mean, this complaint, this investigation was because it was glamorising alcohol. For God's sake, it was done at 9:45 when most children should be asleep anyway. And, you know, she's an icon as far as I'm concerned, so down to earth. She's the most amazing role model we've had for a long time for young people and people of all ages. And to think that we have a narc, and, you know, this James Matheson, who used, I think his claim to fame was he hosted Australian Idol years ago. What the hell is he suffering from, you know, a deprivation of having, you know, some exposure or something. All he looks like
deprivation.
That's the one, love, I was trying to remember, because he's just irrelevant, deprived of a brain, I think, and, you know, just a narc. And, you know, we've got to get over this. It's just quite appalling. But if I was Ash Barty, I would just be thinking, who is this flea? Yeah. You know, he really is pathetic. If that's
it just showed at the time what a down-to-earth person she was, that she would share a beer, not just with any normal people. They were her best friends sitting at that desk at the time, and yet we've got to complain about something like that. And even worse, Holly, for that one complaint, that sole complaint, which, as you pointed out, Prue, was done beyond 9:30 at night, so it was adult time anyway, they have an investigation into this. What planet do we live on that we have to investigate something like that?
Get a life. Like, seriously? I mean, if that's, you've got time to make a complaint about Ash Barty having a swig of beer, you know what? Come and see me. I got plenty of jobs I can give you to do. This is just ridiculous. If you got time to do that, go and volunteer somewhere for a charity. Go and do something with your time that's actually worthwhile, because that is just ridiculous. I mean, seriously, get a life.
Probably the most popular Australian in 2022 so far, and someone like that complains about her. It's just frustrating that we have to share the same continent with a person like that. Okay, now this is really important. This is professional fashion judgment here. Cast your eyes over this front cover photo of Nicole Kidman on Vanity Fair. It's become the latest body image controversy, with many on social media saying the photo is nothing like Nicole Kidman. She's been massively photoshopped. Now, Nicole says they are her abs. I'm going to start with you, Prue. I smell a huge whiff of jealousy here.
Well, I'm bloody jealous, I assure you. I would love to be photoshopped on this damn show. I'm really annoyed that we can't be.
At
the end of the day, look, she's in her 40s. I can't remember how much, but, you know, I don't care. She's got an amazing body, even if there are a few more, you know, abs put in there than she actually has. But she works damn hard. Whenever I've seen her in a frock, she looks amazing. I don't think she's got an ounce of fat on her. And again, get a life. Who cares? She's a great role model again. I mean, I do have issues with young girls who are using Instagram to try and, you know, get the perfect body, and it does breed a lot of, you know, unhealthiness, and I understand that. But in this case, for God's sake, celebrate her. She's an icon. She's a very successful Australian overseas, and why the hell, again, we need to have to pull people down all the time.
Yes.
It's just tragic.
It is. I've got to say, Holly, she is 54 years of age, according to what I've just looked up. 54. Is it true that she took images from your recent photo shoot?
Oh, doll. I mean, clearly it's my body that they've just put her head on. I mean, obviously that's what's happened here, because I obviously look like that post 3 children. She is incredible. And, you know, little secret, years and years ago, I used to live across the road from her sister. And every now and then when she was back in Australia, I'd catch a glimpse of her out the front of the house. She's incredible. She's
hang on. Were you stalking at the time?
She's amazing. No, I lived across the road, okay? You know, I wasn't stalking her. I just see her every now and then. But I lived across the road from Antonia when she was still married to Angus. So, you know, it was a while ago. But she is incredible. She looks unbelievable. It is absolute jealousy, I can tell you, as someone who's a little bit younger than her. If I could look like that, yes, please. So, you know, let's celebrate it. But if anyone out there complaining, hasn't put on a lark filter during their Instagram posts or
What's it
something.
called?
You know, get over it. We've all used a little bit of a filter. I've got a girlfriend who's particularly good at making us look a bit thinner. So I send
I have her
photos.
phone number?
She knows how to do it. And go, can you? Yeah, I'll send her through. I'll send
What's the
Catherine's
filter again?
details. But I send the photos through and say, you know, can you make me look a little bit thinner in this one? She did one once and it was hilarious because she made the horse look like it was pregnant. As she tried to make me thinner, the horse got fatter. But, you know, Nicole looks amazing.
Holly Hughes, Prue MacSween, you've given us what we expected. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, the fashionistas.
Bye,
the
Holly.
fashionistas.
Send me that blasted
Bruce.
number.
Bye.
I'll get you the app.